In our continuing coverage now, the U.S. Supreme Court heard oral arguments this morning on the plans for a taxpayer-funded Catholic virtual charter school in Oklahoma. It would be the first of its kind in the nation.
The court now has several weeks to make its decision on if the school is constitutional. Our state is divided on the issue.
Fox 23's Devin Lyon is live with the reason both sides feel this decision is critical to Oklahoma's education system.
That's right. There are two very clear sides to this issue, and it all comes down to if the courts believe separation of church and state is supported by the Constitution when it comes to public education.
We believe that our country's promise of the separation of church and state means that our public schools must remain free from religious indoctrination and open to all students.
They don't get to punish people because of their religious beliefs. Taxpayers should decide where their taxpayer dollars go to educate their children.
State leaders, parents, and religious leaders throughout Oklahoma are divided on the case surrounding St. Isidore of Seville Virtual Catholic Charter School.
When taxpayer dollars are used to fund religious charter schools, we blur the vital boundary between church and state.
Wednesday morning, more than a dozen parents and church leaders held a news conference in Tulsa speaking against the charter school.
It opens the door to discrimination against students, families, and educators, and it drains resources from the public schools that need them most.
They presented a statement signed by more than 110 Oklahoma religious leaders who are against any tax dollars going to a religious institution, even if it's educational. They say the charter school would be disastrous for the religious freedom of students.
When the government funds religion, it inevitably tries to regulate it.
But not everyone agrees.
The reality is, if you don't want to send your kids there, don't send your kids there. But for the parents that want to send their kids to those schools, we should be protecting those rights, giving them those opportunities, giving them those options, not having the government step in and say, no, because you are a Christian, we're not going to allow this opportunity.
State Superintendent Ryan Walters, State Representative Gabe Woolley, and Tulsa Charter School parent Shelley Gwartney all support the virtual Catholic charter school.
When I think of a religious charter school, I think of school choice. I think of this being another option for parents to choose to enroll their children in or to not.
More parents are getting more and more excited about the choices that are coming to Oklahoma. And like I said, it's going to benefit the kids. And it's going to benefit Oklahoma in the future.
They say St. Isidore would allow more options to parents and benefit the free market educational system in Oklahoma. All sides believe the decision is critical.
Charter schools, again, are going to disrupt the system because we're proving we can do high quality education on a shoestring budget. We don't need more money in our public school system. We need to just do it the right way.
We call on Oklahoma and the United States Supreme Court to do the right thing for the students and families of our state and nation and reaffirm that our public schools are not Sunday schools.
Now, the Supreme Court won't start releasing its formal opinions until this June. I'll have this full statement from some religious leaders signed and presented today, along with statements from the governor and other public officials, and this story on Fox23.com. Live in studio covering news that matters, Devin Lyon, Fox 23 News.
In the next 30 minutes on Fox 23 In Depth, anchor Rick Marinon will bring us more details on the arguments that took place inside the Supreme Court courtroom today in Washington, D.C.